What's going on, everybody? This is Wreckage here, and I am bringing you episode 2 of How to Learn How to Play Magic the Gathering, or something stupid like that. Alright, now, in the last episode, I covered lands, and I highly recommend you watch that one first, because if you don't, then you're not going to understand what I'm talking about in this video. So, last time I covered lands, and that was kind of a broad spectrum because like lands usually take up a little less than half of the game. So, the other half of the game is taken up by things called spells. Spells can be just spells is a general term uh, for anything that costs mana to play. Now, if you watched the last video, you know that mana comes from tapping your lands. So once again, watch that video before you watch this one. Otherwise, you might not know some of the vocabulary that I'm talking about. So, starting, there's a bunch of different kinds of spells. We're gonna start by explaining what a creature is. Creatures are Magic's most, I'm gonna say, often seen. Yeah, creatures are most often seen. Um, they should make up maybe a third of your deck. That's what they say if you're just starting out. It's kind of an easy number to remember. Um, but this is a creature spell. Or if I can just get my... There it is, my cursor. Okay. So, a creature spell, obviously you can tell by this part of the card. Now, I'm going to also break down in this video the parts of the card because that also has to do with spells. Because this is just a general broad basis of everything spell. So, to start off with, you have the name of the card. Obviously up here, this card's name is Abattoir Ghoul. I think that's how you pronounce that. It's confusing sometimes. This is where the card's converted mana cost comes from. Or mana cost. It's mostly the mana cost. This is the card's super type. Now, cards have two different type sections. There's the super type, which takes place before this hyphen, and then there's the subtype, which designates its basically type. If you want to compare it to real life, I am oh jeez. Think of creature like species, or no, not species, but like classification, and then this as like species. So this guy is a creature, and he's also a zombie. There can be a whole bunch of different types. Like this thing is a, if I can see that after the glare goes away, at least you can see the creature type. This is a creature spider, and you can find that like right. See if I can find. There it is. See, he's still a creature, but he's a spider, and that's all there is to that. This is the card's. This is where you find the card's expansion symbol and rarity. This card comes from a set called Innistrad, as designated by the little symbol, and its rarity is uncommon. This is where the text goes for its abilities. Anything in here that's like italicized is flavor text. Cards usually do this for flavor purposes, usually just part of the lore, and this is special to creature spells. It's power and toughness. And I'll get more on that later once I cover each of these in better detail, but that's what a creature spell looks like. Another type of spell is an instant. Now, if I can adjust this... Okay. An instant is a card that you can play at any time during the game. An instant is like... it's just like casting a quick little thing. What happens is it uses its effect, so when you play this for one white mana, you choose a color, and then white creatures you control gain protection from the chosen color until the end of turn. That's not that hard to understand. I mean, protection maybe because it's kind of a complicated keyword, but it's really kind of alright. It's not that hard, it's just remembering all this stuff is kind of hard, so I'll cover more on instance later, but I'm just wanting to show you what spells look like and the parts of the card for this video. So this is a sorcery card. They're like instants, except they can only be played during your turn. It's fair enough. It's simple enough. You know, you pay two colorless, or I mean, two mana and a red for a total of 3. It does its effect, and it goes to the graveyard where all your used spells go. This is an artifact. Like creatures, they stay on the battlefield. However, they don't have a power and toughness, as you can see, which means that they kind of just sit around and do their shit. Awakening Zone is an enchantment. Enchantments are the same thing as artifacts, except there's differences, and artifacts, as you can see, are usually colorless, which means they don't have a specific color, which means they can go into any kind of deck. This is an enchantment. They do the same thing. They just sit on the battlefield and their abilities work. And then sometimes cards can have multiple types, as seen by Kronos, God of Storms here. He's a creature, which means he has a subtype of what kind of creature he is. He has power and toughness from it, but he's also an enchantment, which is unique. So anything that says, or anything that affects enchantments will affect Kronos as well. Anything that affects creatures will affect him as well. And same thing goes for if your creature is an artifact creature, if your creature is a artifact and an enchantment, which there are a couple that are. And this is a new not new. This is a different kind of subtype. It's called legendary, which means that a player can only control one legendary card of an English name at one time, which means you can't have two Kronos God of Storms on the field. If you have one on the field and you play another one, then your other one needs to be sacrificed, or one of them needs to be sacrificed. Oh, the one thing that I didn't search for, and let me just quick run a search for this. Let's go Sorin. Okay. This is another kind of card that I forgot to mention. A Planeswalker card. Planeswalkers are permanents, so other examples of permanents are things that stay in the field after you cast them, which would be Arbiter Ghoul, artifacts, enchantments, things like that. Those are permanents. They stay on the battlefield. Same as lands. Lands are also permanents. Planeswalkers are different because, I mean, they come out, they have a thing down here, a thing down here, some things over here, and they're very confusing, and I'll cover those all in one video because there are a bunch of them and they're difficult. But I believe that might be all of the types of spells there are. Creature, instant, sorcery, artifact, enchantment, legendary, planeswalker. Legendary is actually a designation. It's not actually a card. I mean, it is a card type, but I think that's everything for these kinds of spells. Just keep in mind that all of these are spells when they're on the stack, and the stack is a very a pretty advanced concept, so I'm not going to talk about it in depth right now, but you have to keep in mind that all of these have a mana cost, and that is found in this upper right-hand corner. All of these need mana to be played, which means you need to tap your lands for mana to play them. This costs 4 of any color. This costs 2 and a red. So you can play like green or black, or you can pay whatever colors for this as long as you pay 2 and a red. This one, just need 1 white. This one, you need 3 colors, or I mean 3 mana and a black. So remember that this is not 3 blacks, this is 3 and a black. So for a total of 4. You always got to keep that in mind, because I see a lot with new players. They'll think that this is, especially something like this, they'll think that it's 2 greens, and it's not. It's 2 and a green. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe for more, and have a nice day.